Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're here to give an update on, yes, a March nor'easter. Not that we haven't missed it a little bit. We didn't have one to speak of last year, but we're going to make up for some lost time with what is going to be an epic event. I want to acknowledge the extraordinary team that has more experience than they probably want to have, but they're the ones who've been to this with me so many times, literally in the foxhole or in the headquarters, the emergency personnel offices, the operations centers, and sometimes on the side of a road talking about our next steps. So I want to thank Commissioner Jackie Bray. You'll be hearing from her shortly, the Commissioner of Homeland Security and Emergency Services, Commissioner Marie-Therese Dominguez, our Department of Transportation Commissioner, Superintendent Steve Nigrelli from the State Police, Executive Director of the Thruway Authority, Frank Hoare, and our locally owned elected officials who've been through this a lot before, and our great partners, County Executive Dan McCoy and Mayor Kathy Sheehan. So let's give you an update. We are looking at what I would call another episode of March Madness. And because of the timing, everybody were saying stay home, work on your brackets, and make sure that you're supporting our New York State teams that have made the finals. So let's make sure that we are home safe. That's the number one message. There's no reason in the world to have plans to be out tomorrow. Today is the day you get ready. Do everything you need to do. Stock up on the groceries, stock up on the batteries, stock up on making sure you got enough chargers, everything you're going to need. Additional light sources, because it's going to be one where we're going to see serious loss of power. Where that is a statement of fact. There will be loss of power. But I also want to talk about how we're planning for this. We've been through this before. You know, we just came through an extraordinary winter in Buffalo. 7 feet of snow in November before Thanksgiving, Christmas holiday where we were all holed up in a hotel. Those are my Christmas dinner partners as we are dealing with the blizzard of the century. So we're no strangers to snow here, but we also want to make sure that that does not mean complacency sits in. That is our biggest fear. People in Upstate say, well, snow is coming, another snowstorm. I've lived my whole life with snowstorms, but this is one we're cautioning people that this could be deadly. And that is the message that we're here to deliver today. So the key to handling this, early preparation, early warnings. I just gave the warning. Let me repeat it. This will be a dangerous storm. Please stay off the roads for your own safety. Stay in your homes. Also for the safety of these incredible men and women throughout upstate New York who will be giving up their time, working round the clock to make sure that the roads are plowed. It is very, very hard to plow the roads when there are people in front of you or cars that insisted on venturing out and end up in a ditch and have to be rescued. This really affects our ability to respond in real time, and you'll hear more about that. So it's also about pre-positioning resources. You'll hear about how we have already launched and pre-positioned 100 National Guard in this region, ready to step in. We are bringing in staff. We are utility crews from all over, even from Canada, are now positioned in this region to be able to get the power back on. And I have been through enough power outages myself to know, especially as a young mom, what it's like when you're in your house and you've got kids, they're not in school, you have no power, it is cold, and it is scary. So we are going to be working very hard to position trucks, utility teams here and now so they can respond as soon as possible. But that all being said, when the roads are too busy, even for our utility trucks to be on, you have to know it's going to take some time to get the power restored. I just want people to know that. So they'll work as fast as they can. And if we don't think it's fast enough, I assure you we let them know. I have no hesitation calling any company head and saying, that's not fast enough, get the people out there now. But it's all about pre-positioning. We feel comfortable with that right now. I also want to make sure that people know that we are going to be declaring a state of emergency beginning at 8 p.m. tonight. This is how we can amplify the message that this is serious, but also allows us to deploy resources and take extraordinary measures to protect the safety of our residents and their properties. So I'll have the commissioners explain this as well. So here's what's happening. Light snowfall expected late this morning. I guess we're already past the morning. Early afternoon, pick up later tonight. So about 8 inches western New York Finger Lakes, which is manageable. But then the intensifies, 1 to 2 inches an hour 3 inches an hour, which is a lot. 3 inches an hour is a lot of snow coming down Monday night through Tuesday afternoon. New York City, Long Island, a couple of inches of snow, and also we're watching coastal flooding on Long Island. This is something we're keeping an eye on and making sure we have individuals in place. What complicates things? Not just the snow coming down and the rate of snow. When you add in the mix of a high wind event, we can get upwards of 45, even higher miles an hour. And that's when you get the lack of visibility and the inability for us to drive safely on the roads with the plows. So we're going to be asking people again, stay home so our plows can do what they have to do with very limited visibility. So the snow is also going to be very heavy. I'm kind of a professional on snow. I like good heavy snow for packing. It's great for having a snowball war and for building snowmen. Those are activities I recommend in your backyard only. Don't leave your house. Let's have a snowwoman building contest. And make sure that you're home safely with your kids doing that, because heavy, dense snow means one thing. It's going to take down the wires. There's no way around it. When you have snow that's 50% heavier than normal, this is not the light, fluffy, pretty Christmas snow. This is going to come down like a brick. And it is that weight that causes the problem. So 1.5 feet of snow is going to have the effect of 3 feet of snow. So that is something we're watching out for. And that's why we're saying that is not a prediction that there will be some widespread power outages. There will be widespread power outages in a very large geographic area. So we want to make sure that people are aware of that. Staying at home tomorrow, because the commutes will be very negatively impacted Monday evening, Tuesday, Wednesday morning. And I've ordered all state employees in the capital regions who have the ability to work from home in the capital region, Mid-Hudson, to work from home tomorrow. So we're encouraging other employers to follow suit, especially with the ability to zoom into your jobs. We're encouraging people to please stay home and off the roads. So again, fewer roads, safer they'll be. Again, the temperatures are going to drop. They're not going to be below freezing and for a sustained period. But again, your power's out. It's cold. Doesn't matter if it's 35 or 40. It is still cold in your home, so making sure everybody's ready for that. Another area, we talk about what happens when people are out there shoveling the snow. In a normal snow event, shoveling snow, if you don't take breaks, take your water breaks, slow down, they can be actually a trigger for heart attacks. That is often the #1 cause of fatalities during snow events, are heart attacks from shoveling snow. Now, that's a normal event. This is an extraordinary event. This is an event where the snow is going to be so much heavier. So please, just wait. You don't have to do it the second it falls, especially our senior citizens. Young people, pick up a shovel. Go help your senior citizen neighbors. Give them a hand, because this could be dangerous to their health if they engage in snow shoveling while it's that heavy and that dangerous. So we have a lot of pre-positioning going on. I'm going to allow the superintendents or the commissioners to talk about how many plow trucks and loaders and snow blowers. The Thruway Authority and DOT salt sheds are fully stocked for the storm. That is good news. All the personnel we have, about 4,300 already available. Utility workers, almost up to 8,000 utility workers already in place. We brought in 2,000 from the outside area. So we are taking this very seriously. And that is the message. Again, bringing the National Guard on duty, and we have people mobilized as we speak. Again, our Emergency Operations Center became activated at 8 a.m. We'll be spending a lot of time there over the next 48 hours. We'll be prepared. And we'll continue working with our local officials and calling around to all the counties, as we always do within a large region, to see whatever help they need with the plows or anything, standing up, warming shelters and places like that. So, again, did you catch the message? No doubt in your minds, this is a serious nor'easter. It is something to be taken extremely seriously, and that's what we're doing here in the state of New York, and we encourage everyone to heed these warnings. This is your chance today. Get what you need to cancel your plans. I've already canceled a lot of our plans for this weekend, and I know this is heading into St. Patrick's Day festivities. I know it's really unlucky this week to have a snowstorm of this scale hit at this time. It's going to disrupt a lot of plans, but it's more important that people be safe and then be there for the next St. Patrick's Day. So thank you, everybody, and with that, I'll turn it over to Commissioner Jackie Bray.
Thank you, Governor. Appreciate your leadership getting us all here today and taking this storm incredibly seriously. The vast majority of eastern New York is now under a winter storm warning. The Finger Lakes and Western New York are under winter storm watches. That we expect that to continue through the duration of the event without a break. As the governor said, the conditions for driving will be extremely dangerous. One of the things I want to say is that this is a long duration event. This is not an event that is going to come and go quickly. We expect the event to start around 8 p.m. tonight in earnest. We expect the worst of the snow to be falling in the overnight, Monday to Tuesday, but this is going to linger through Wednesday morning, and we do expect to see some pretty significant winds even throughout the day on Wednesday. So as the governor said, we do expect widespread power outages, and we expect that repairing those outages, getting power back, may take us extra time given the conditions that we're going to face on Tuesday and even Wednesday morning. For us at the Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services, we began our coordination calls with all state agencies yesterday. We opened our state emergency operations center this morning at 8 a.m. Our field staff have been in contact with county and local leaders and emergency managers to make sure that they have everything that they need. We have opened and put on 24/7 staffing our Hudson Valley, Capital Region, and North Country stockpiles, and we will continue to coordinate any additional staff pre-positioning and deployment when the storm begins in earnest. I also want to take a second to talk about what we expect for the weather after the storm. Today, tomorrow, Wednesday, we expect lows in the 20s, highs in the 30s. That's the storm. Thursday and Friday, we expect the weather to be in the 40s and the 50s, including with sun. So we have begun to evaluate potential for rapid melting and minor or moderate flooding risk that we will keep our eyes on and report back to New Yorkers if anything develops. And with that, I want to introduce Commissioner of Transportation, Marie-Therese Dominguez.
All right, good morning, everybody. Governor, while I know we're all anxious for spring, it's not quite here yet. So with that, following your lead, the New York State Department of Transportation has been preparing for a number of days now for this nor'easter, and we're in a state of readiness. This storm is poised to deliver some significant snowfall amounts, and DOT is working in all parts of the state to prepare and respond to whatever comes our way. But let me give you some information on what we're doing here in the Capital Region in particular. To fight this storm, New York State DOT has 259 pieces of equipment that will be working. That includes large and medium plow trucks, loaders, blowers, tow plows. We're putting everything at it. We have 449 supervisors and operators on hand here in the region, and we've repositioned an additional 26 operators and supervisors from other parts of the state here to the Capital Region to help fight this storm. We're doubling our resources, meaning our plow trucks, to cover the heavily traveled interstates here in the Capital Region in particular, including the surrounding ring around the city of Albany. That's I-90, I-87, the Northway, 787, and alternate Route 7. Over the course of this storm, we'll look to reevaluate the need for additional resources as conditions warrant, certainly throughout the course of this event. But we're in close coordination, and we're collaborating very significantly with our partners at the New York State Police and the New York State Thruway Authority, and jointly, we will be implementing the following commercial vehicle restrictions beginning at 8 p.m. tonight. The full length of I-84 and I-88, the Northway, from Albany to Plattsburgh, and I-90 to the Berkshire Spur will have a ban on tandem and empty tractor trailers. The travel advisory will also be issued and in place for I-81 from the Pennsylvania line to Syracuse, and Route 17 from Middletown to Binghamton. And this will advise trucks to use the right lane only. I'm sure my colleagues, certainly at the Thruway, will expand on this a little bit more. To ensure a quick response to potential incidents, DOT is also having tow trucks pre-staged here in portions of the Capital District, as well as on parts of I-84, I-684, and Route 17 and Interstate I-81. DOT crews across the state have been preparing our equipment and our roadways, and all of our operations will be fully staffed 24/7 throughout the event and for priority cleanups as we look at post-event operations and what needs to happen. We also have our mechanics who will be not only staffing residencies like this one here in Latham, but also all of our fleet facilities 24/7 to make sure that our trucks are up and on the road. But here's my message to all the members of the traveling public. As the governor said, especially in these impacted regions of this state, please stay home. If you have to go out, please give our crews, our DOT men and women, give them space to do their job. Don't crowd the plow. We'll get through this storm, but we need you to stay home, to stay safe, and to let our folks do their job and do what they do best, which is really clear the roads and make them safe for all of you. So thank you very much. And with that, let me turn it over to my colleague at the Thruway Authority, Frank Hoare.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Governor. The Thruway will have 600 operators and 400 pieces of snow fighting equipment ready to go. In addition, for the duration of this event, from this morning through the duration, we will have our garages and all facilities open and ready to respond. And we have pre-positioned and pre-deployed additional assets and resources from Buffalo, which is a surprise. Usually we're going that way. But they are in helping us with additional resources, and we have additional resources in reserve and ready to respond as necessary. Again, to echo the governor and my colleagues, we're anticipating 1 to 3 inches an hour. That means the roads will be hazardous, and we urge you to stay off those roads. Again, we'd ask you to be mindful of our crews that are out there, our snow plowing crews, our emergency response vehicles, and our partners at State Police and DOT. Please be mindful of them. Let them do their work. On the Thruway, as of 8 p.m. tonight, we will be banning tandems and empty trailers from exit 17 in Newburgh to exit 36 Syracuse. In addition, on the Berkshire Spur, those bans will take effect from the Thruway east to the Massachusetts border. Again, and we are requiring all vehicles, trucking vehicles to be, and commercial vehicles to be use the right-hand lane. We've started messaging yesterday evening that, and we've worked with our partners at the trucking associations to get that message out to their folks. Finally, we just say, again, check the Thruway Authority apps, check our social media for the latest and up-to-date reports and advisories. Thank you.
County Executive.
Let me introduce now Albany County Executive Dan McCoy.
Thank you. Thank you, Governor. And I do want to say, it's kind of easy to smile because the leadership we have with Governor Hochul and her team and being ready for the snowstorm. You can't always predict everything that's going to happen, but knowing that we have this team in place, the partnerships, the communications is vital to fighting a storm like this. So Governor Hochul, to you and your team, thank you so much for everything that you do. We will also be declaring an emergency tonight at 8 o'clock for the same reasons. The next 36 hours starting at 8 are going to be tough. They're going to be tough, and like everyone has said and said again, please stay off the road if you don't have to be on the road. I know people don't believe in storms, and if you learned anything from what happened out in Buffalo, you know, if you do happen to decide to go out and you want to be that person thinking you can drive in this weather and you get stuck, make sure you shut your car off, please, because what happens is if the snow gets up to your gas pipe, you're not going to make it through the night. So please shut your car off, try to find shelter, stay off the road. Let the men and women do their job that they need to do to plow and keep the roads open for not just, you know, emergency situations, for the fire department, for ambulance, for the police, so they can respond to calls and emergencies, and so the national grid can get out and fix the fallen wires, because it's going to be heavy snow. You know, like the governor said, you know, please, if you're not out used to shoveling like that, take your time. It is going to be a marathon, but it's not a sprint. Trust me, I'm not used to running. So take your time, rest, as the governor said. Take a 5-minute break, 10-minute break. It's not a rush to get your driveway done or clean off your car, because please go out tonight, get everything before on your way home from work before the storm hits. Just be ready to hunker down for the next 36 hours, and you'll be helping everyone else out. So the people that have to get to the nursing homes, or essential employees that have to get even to the sewer districts and everything, and our DPW people can get out there so they can get there safely to make sure they open it up. And it's gonna take time. So even after the storm hits, we still gotta remove all that snow. So we got to be patient. It is March. I think everyone's done. We don't expect this, but you know what? We're ready. We got a great team in place with everyone around here. And I do want to just echo again and say to the governor, thank you. I do want to say thank you to my men and women at DPW, our Commissioner Lisa Raimondo, because we're ready too. We got over 700 miles of roads in the hill towns we'll be doing, putting salt out. All of our pieces of equipment will be out. Again, doing their job to keep us safe. But when you talk about great partners, Mayor Sheehan in the city of Albany, I get to introduce you, and I just want to say, Mayor, it is good to work with you, and we are going to hold you fast to the NCAAs that you will have everything ready to go by Friday, Mayor.
We will, because we do work together, and I want to thank the governor. I'm going to follow her lead and say that all of our non-essential workers will be working from home tomorrow. There is no reason for people to be out on the streets. When the snow falls quickly, it can surprise people, and it really can be a deadly, deadly venture. So, I also want to echo what the governor said about your neighbors, about seniors. Reach out today. I've already texted the most vulnerable person I know and asked them if they need help and if they need anything to get stocked up on. And so if all of us who are able to do that, we can help get our neighbors through this. And it's really important. Also, as you are going home tonight, be nice to the other people in the grocery store. This is going to be a really difficult storm, but it's only going to last for tomorrow. And, the roads might still be a little bit dicey on Wednesday, but as you've heard, I've got my marching orders from the county executive. We have to have the streets in Albany cleared in time for the NCAA tournament. We are also going to keep all of the roadways clear to our hospitals. We're going to be working, we're fully staffed, all of our equipment is ready to go, and we have dedicated men and women who are going to do everything in their power to keep everyone safe. So help us, help them, stay home if you don't have to go out. Today, before you get home, call that most vulnerable person that you know, ask how you can help them, ask what they need, and we'll get through this. So thank you. Thanks, Governor.
Also, we want to make sure that people are paying attention to possible road closings. You heard about the commercial ban. 1 second, please. We were talking about banks a couple hours ago. I have to shift my mindset. We're talking about snowbanks, not New York State banks at this point. But keep an eye out for all the messaging on travel bans. As we've announced, I'm going to reiterate, there is a state of emergency beginning at 8 p.m. tonight. Also, you heard about what's going to happen on our major highways, but we'll be watching very closely, and I know my team is planning on middle of the night conversations about what the morning is going to look like in terms of whether or not there'll be local road closures, and that's something we do with our local partners as well. So everybody needs to be tuning into the news however way you absorb your news content.